their own projects. And then as we're looking at accelerating some of the broader work on infrastructure, we recently announced an infrastructure trust that we'll be creating, and this will bring in private sector dollars. Still thinking about the previous slide on the built environment. This will bring in private sector dollars to fund investments in transformative infrastructure projects in the city of Chicago, and energy efficiency will be a real focus there as we get started. We're really looking to continue to find new ways to bring new dollars into the infrastructure question in our city. And then we've taken a different approach, and we've looked at water, and we're actually raising our water rates, which will let us do some significant infrastructure improvements there as well. So we will be replacing many of our all of our century-old water pipes. We'll be replacing about 900 miles in the next decade. We'll be relining and replacing sewer lines, relining catch basins, and upgrading our pumping stations. So really looking at that infrastructure and ensuring that it is strengthened for the challenges to come. After the built environment, we look specifically at the natural environment. So leveraging tools like maps, thermal imaging, etc. And we've really looked at where are those strategies with high impact that can address the challenges that may hit the natural spaces. Part of what we've done in this is looked at it and created an invasive species ordinance so that we are limiting some of the challenges and threats that can be brought into the changing environment. We have adjusted our tree planting list a bit. Most of it stayed the same, but as we looked at that change in the plant hardiness zone that we were referencing a little bit earlier, some trees won't do as well in a changing climate, and so we want to make sure that investments that we make are there for the long term. So we'd like our trees to live a good while. We want to make sure that we're planting the ones that can do well here. And then we also offer a program on sustainable backyards that supports residents in their own efforts to plant native plant-to-plant trees that are appropriate and to do things like adding rain barrels into the backyard. So we also thought very much about the adaptation and the resilience question from a natural environment perspective. And then the final way we think about this is very specifically around people and adaptation in our systems there. So we want to make sure that we are protecting our residents from any impacts that are to come and really leveraging the systems that exist. So one of the things that we've done really explicitly is to look at extreme storm components and add that into our extreme weather operations plan. That's led to multiple cooling centers that are run, and we also have many more buildings like libraries, park facilities, and senior centers that are available as needed because the changes in climate, depending on how the scenarios go, could lead to many more of those high heat days, and we want to do all we can to prevent any adverse effects to residents and people visiting the city of Chicago. We've also looked at tree planting and looked at addressing new plantings in areas that have higher urban heat island challenges. So really looking at bringing in that support structure, again, to support the people who live here, their comfort and their opportunity to continue to have great experiences while they're in the city of Chicago, even though there might be some changes to weather patterns. So we've looked overall at the question of the city. We see tremendous opportunities in thinking about what we can do to make sure that Chicago is the fantastic city we know and love in the decades to come, just like it is today. And we think sustainability is part of our competitive advantage, part of what really helps us bring great quality of life, fantastic economic opportunity, and strengthening our infrastructure to come. And within that, economic opportunities exist, multiple co-benefits around reducing risk, increasing resources that can be brought in. We really see co-benefits coming from looking at these strategies and look to bring more and more resources and partners in, thinking about the infrastructure